need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now at 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
4 o'clock here in the Music City, so you know what time it is. Time for the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio for the first edition of the afternoon stretch in 2023. Hope everybody is having a terrific Tuesday, January 3rd. If you want to get involved, we want to talk to you. 615-844-5600. Got a good show today. A lot to talk about. A lot of unfortunate things, obviously, to talk about. But later on in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to have our buddies Blake Lovell and Alex Darty on. Blake will be on at 5:25, and Alex will be on at 5:40. One talking college basketball, then the next talking the Preds. Have those as our weekly Tuesday hits that we have. But Bruno Reagan, how are you doing today? First show of the new year.
Yeah, I was a little spooked yesterday. I was worried. I was like, what if we did have a show? And I went to training, and then I drove back home to Clarksville. I was like, this doesn't feel right. Feels like 3 years ago.
I was this close to texting you. Where you at?
Yeah.
Just because I thought maybe you were having that.
I did.
And, of course, the Winter Classic went on last night in place of the show. I think it stretched probably about to the middle of it. But still, all the same, we ended up having the Winter Classic on, which whenever you can get the Winter Classic over in Fenway, you do it because they did a really good job with that yesterday. I was actually really happy with that. Did you see the old-timey – they came out in old-timey Red Sox uniforms and, like, the hockey players did?
I was pretty occupied up until, like, the night when the bad news happened, and then that sort of took over my entire thought process going into this morning.
Yeah.
So, because I went in training, I took a nap, judo, and then that story hit.
Well, that nap was 7 hours, too.
Yeah.
Some people just call it sleep, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so I expected, just for the heads up for the viewership out there, we'll spend this first segment talking about the obvious.
Yeah.
And then we'll try and move it on to a lighter mood, because this show is supposed to be and the reason we do sports and entertainment and all this is because, the world can be a hard place sometimes. It can be a multitude of things. It can be home life, it can be work life, a lot of stress, and you use these outlets to escape, right? So you don't want to – we have to talk about the obvious and the hard things, and we'll do that this first segment, and then we'll move on to maybe hopefully a more lighter mood, because it was a great weekend for a lot of different things. It was a fun weekend. Hope everyone had a great, blessed New Year's. But DeMar Hamlin, obviously, big injury on the field, a lot of raw emotion coming out on social media. So I just opt to say the important things there and give people that are affected time to breathe. I think that's what everyone needs to do is pray, take a step back, and then breathe a little bit. And I was talking to you before we got hopped on the show that I think a reason this hits people so differently is because there's two main reasons. One is the National Football League is just such an outlet for, escaping real life. So when something as precious as a life is threatened live on those airwaves, it hits people differently. And it goes on to the second point. NFL players, to a lot of people, are superhuman. Mm-hmm. So when you kind of see the the realness of a tragedy that is always possible, and it wasn't like it was a big crazy hit or anything. We still don't know exactly what happened. To just see that on something we all use to escape different things and just come together and try and enjoy fun. The players play it because it's a fun game. They also get pretty chunk of change. The fans have a passion for their city and these players, and they're in the community. So just to see that happen, I think it hits differently than, because I've seen a few, a little bit of weird takes. This is where social media gets weird during these right. stressful times, is because people will be like, oh, what about, X, Y, or Z in our communities and stuff. I think the reason why it hits different is because of those 2 points I said.
I think you're onto something with that. Obviously, The obvious part is, we want to have a real rational discussion about this.
Yeah, so we're going to get into the Skip Bayless tweet.
Yeah,
we're going to have our opinions.
There was a lot that happened.
Yes, and I get I get every side. It's so emotional.
Well,
get it.
the Frank side of it is millions of people watched the man die. That's really what happened. He went to cardiac arrest. That's dying. And thank the Lord that there was those doctors there that came in and were able to resuscitate him. And everybody needs to be praying still as hard as they can for that guy, because it's just we talk about football. I mean, many times that it's a children's game. It really is. Football, basketball, baseball. These are games for children. And when stuff like that, when like you're saying, the world gets real, the real world gets into the game like that. It is jarring. I mean, people are not used to it. And I think there was Paul Kaharski actually put out a tremendous piece. We don't do a lot of free shout outs out here, but I read it and I think it was
Sometimes it's deserved.
No, I think he wrote something that was really great, and it's you need to learn sometimes when to just shut up.
I think that's a great point. That's a great point. And I'm one of the most I would say I'm on the more unhinged end of emotional. Like when I get emotional, I point back to one of the tougher things I had that I watched recently was, and I hate bringing it back up because it still makes me feel terrible, was the Zach Stacy incident.
Right. Where
I got emotional and I said something that I think people that I care about were like, that's not you. You shouldn't say that. And that sucked. So I can get how it just you can just act out of your nature.
Yeah.
It can all just happen like that.
100%. And that was something last night where it just felt like people were angry at the situation.
Yes, and they didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, they needed
I didn't know how to handle it because I was mad at ESPN for how they were handling, knowing what we do on our end. I just know. We could have handled, something better, but that we're not as nearly as big as the Monday Night Football game and how many avenues you have to jump. I would have hoped they have more caution for a situation. If you claim to be the worldwide leader in sports, you would take in all things that could happen. And I think they did the best they could with what they had.
I'm glad they didn't sit there and just play the replay over and over again. That was the low hanging fruit that they could have done. And the players'
faces, they started doing that, and I think no one knew how serious it was. So you're once you saw the first 4 players, you were like, this isn't good.
No,
this is horrifying.
Right.
I don't even know what's happening.
And that's the other side that obviously DeMar is the main side of this of all, but T. Higgins, how he's going forward, people need to be praying for him, people need to be with him and loving on him. The players that were around, that's something that I heard earlier today, Jim Rome on the station. I think it was Mike Lombardi, who he had on, and said that the cameras couldn't really see anything. They couldn't see what was going on. The players surrounded them, and the players saw that they saw real life stuff right in front of them. A guy being resuscitated and brought back to life. And I mean, just all these different things. They saw it, and that's why you're seeing Stephon Diggs, bawling, crying. And I would be too. I would be worse, probably. So it's seeing that kind of stuff. I think it was tough for ESPN. I do think they just never thought this was going to happen. Yeah. That's the real side. I don't think they thought this was ever going to happen, and they didn't have an idea for it. I don't think they had a plan, and that's something separately we could talk about. They'll obviously have a plan going forward now. Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to have a plan going forward. But a lot of the vitriol and anger that came out last night, there was just people that I think were just angry. I think they were just simply angry at what they had to see, and that it, like you said, it got into their fun time.
And I think there are some valid things to question people about. I think if you blame T. Higgins, people are getting upset at you, that might be a valid thing. I think the Skip Bayless tweet, now that we've had a day to sleep on it, that one might not be as bad. Yeah, and that's just me being honest.
The Skip tweet was strange. I don't think what he said was anything that was crazy. What I think that people were mad at Skip Bayless was the plus 20 years of saying things to grab attention,
most
to grab
recently,
clicks.
The Dak Prescott situation
exactly.
in his brother, and then Dak Prescott opens up about mental health and his struggles, and then Skip. I think people, they're just And
I'm not siding with Skip on this. I don't want anyone to think that. I have no reason to. I'm just saying that what it was he said was a real conversation that the NFL was having. And I think a lot of this is, we were talking about this before the show.
It comes off as tone deaf for sure, and that warrants the criticism.
And it comes off of lack of information, because this is what we were talking about. The other side of people that were angry and mad, they were mad at the NFL. They were mad at the NFL saying how long, they couldn't believe how long it took for them to cancel the game, postpone it, whatever the phrase is, but that the 5-minute restart, they thought that was a very tone-deaf thing. I say this. It took an hour for them to cancel the game. Those doctors got on that field and saw that DeMar wasn't breathing. They saw that he was gone. He died. And they weren't running back to the NFL and saying, hey, tell Roger Goodell this is happening. That didn't happen. They were nothing. They didn't care about TVs. They didn't care about cameras. They didn't care about game time. They didn't care. They cared about DeMar. They cared about resuscitating DeMar. And the cog of the NFL is giant. It's giant. You're talking about multiple people that all need to be informed what's going on, and they fall far, far from DeMar in that moment. So the doctors were working. Nobody was talking. This is my assumption.
They couldn't make a decision without the facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when all that happened, they made the decision. And look, an hour, people are saying that's too long. I thought it was impressive that they were able to do that kind of decision that was made, which is the obvious decision. Don't take as what I'm saying is saying it wasn't obvious. It's the obvious decision. But I don't think the news was out that quick for them because of just how much
making
happened.
A decision that quick offers more questions than answers.
Exactly.
And I'm talking about the true side of it. Payroll, TV, scheduling. It doesn't matter? No. But
none of it matters compared to tomorrow.
Absolutely. But today the NFL is having those conversations. There's only so much the National Football League can do for DeMar. And he's at the best hospital, I think, for what his condition was from what I read. I retweeted as many things as I could. I'm not a doctor. I do my best. From what I heard, from the time he got treated to the hospital he's at, they're doing the best they can. So now it's time to move on to the other conversations and constantly keep track of DeMar and try not to spread misinformation.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
That's the biggest side of it all is that they have to now. I mean, and I think, like I said, what Paul wrote earlier today, I think was the true thing. Just sit back, wait for the news to come as it's going to come, because no matter what, I'll say this: I don't think, just from a personal opinion, I don't think the game's going to be replayed.
I also don't think the game's going to be replayed, but I do think the other games are going to, go on as usual.
Yeah, this game's going to be a no contest, or they're both going to get ties or something. I saw people were mad at me last night saying I said maybe Bills forfeit or something. That wasn't like Bills need to be punished in this situation, but I think that both teams are going to want to forfeit and help the other team no matter what because of the situation that's happening. So whatever the NFL is going to choose, I don't see them playing this game. I just don't. I don't see them playing it because, frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But all these teams are going to get into the playoffs. The only thing that in a way helps is the Kansas City Chiefs would solidify the first spot. And some people were upset about that. But, you know what the Chiefs would probably do? They would give it to the Bills if they could. They're like, yeah, let the Bills have the first spot. Who cares? They're all these players. And this is where I wanted to get your thought on this because I was thinking about you last night. You're USFL. I mean, you have tons of buddies that obviously play USFL, friends. I mean, how does a player – and I tweeted, how does a player justify wanting to go back into a game, not only just 5 minutes into it, which I think everybody agrees was crazy, but I mean, just the next game. How does T. Higgins get back on the field and not have that twinge of I don't want to do this again?
Well, you're asking a real question that, frankly, I'm scared to answer, but I'll do my best. Because, I think you've known me long enough to where I say a lot of things that I don't mean, as I think a lot of people do with work. It's just venting sometimes. Do you think at this moment in time I could really live a life without football? Or do you think I know how to live a life without football yet? Do you think I do?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I try to find it. That's how important it is to me. That's how ingrained it is to me. So I know the risk. I know the risk all around. My knees got bad ones. I mean, I just did my workman's comp case, and he was like, hey, you probably shouldn't play again. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I called the GM a week later and told him I was going to play. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know the risks. and I made my own informed decision. It's like as long as people know the risks, they can make their decisions. And if the Bills don't want to play, they don't have to. If someone doesn't want to, if this was so traumatic that someone doesn't want to play the rest of the season, the playoff run, no, they shouldn't be shamed because it just hits everyone different. It just hits everybody different, and it just comes down to a mutual respect of the human well-being, I guess. But I don't think we as football players are like mentally tougher than anyone else because of this dramatic situation, because this happens to kids in t-ball, or not t-ball, but maybe like high school baseball. Kid gets hit in the chest with a ball or something, a bad pitch, and this can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it really
this
can.
is the risk of living life.
Yeah.
It seemed like and that's why blaming T. Higgins was so criticized, because it wasn't like it was a vicious hit or anything. It was a normal football. It was light, more tame than anything.
T. Higgins would have retired before that play happened if he knew that was the outcome.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like that's the
absolutely.
real side of it.
So it's multifaceted from a player perspective, but it's not like I'm not going to stop playing football. It's not like those guys are going to stop playing football either.
Yeah.
They're going to have hard conversations with themselves, and hopefully everyone in that league gets a resource, because maybe some people didn't think of that possibility. You know, because it is a game. You don't ever think this is going to be my last. A lot of people don't think this is going to be my last snap, much less my last day on this world.
Right.
You know, so at the end of the day, it sucks because it kind of puts the whole season into this weird perspective that none of us want to face, which is, you know, how fringe the life we live is sometimes.
Yeah.
I hope people can just find the joy in it, find the joy in playing. And not I'm not saying to use this bad situation as a good thing. Like, that probably puts it wrong, but use this as an opportunity to remember how short of a time we have, and use it to love as hard as possible.
Yeah.
It's really all we can do. Right. I hope I did the best I could to answer that, because it's a scary thing.
It's a real question I think every player is going to have to ask themselves.
And if you don't want to play and you're like, the risk is too great, more power to you.
Yeah.
That's great. I've tried to quit. I talked to you about quitting, and I'm like, I just don't know how to live my life without it. So I'm here. You know?
I think it's fair. I think it's a very fair point, and I think, like I said, it's every player is going to have to ask themselves that same question at some point and say, how many of those Bills players are going to play next week?
Yeah, that's a real question. That was their friend.
Does their season stop? You know, it's the same thing for Virginia recently, right? With what happened there. I mean, how many of those guys just?
These are people you bleed with.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. You don't. I've been with people that I have no personal growth with, or no chemistry with, but you just bleed with these guys. So it's just this weird attachment you have to this community where it's like it's us versus the world. You live like that your entire time. So even though they're not your friend, it can just hit entirely differently. I can only imagine what's going through in that locker room. When I was in college, I lost a teammate. I lost Turner Cockrell to cancer, and I don't know how we even operated for 2 weeks. It was crazy. It was one of the most surreal things, and I bury that memory deep in my head because I just don't know how to process or deal with it. So if these players need time, it sucks, but take it. There's just more to life to it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. We need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, 615-844-5600. Back after this here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. A little bit of traffic volume from time to time. 24 east at Bell Road out through Antioch, continuing into Rutherford County. Lots of radar down through Rutherford County into Coffee County this afternoon. Building through Mount Juliet, right on schedule there on 40 east up by 840 as you head out towards Lebanon. I still see a short delay on 65 as you travel north of Portland just before you get up into Kentucky through that stretch of Robertson County. Princess Hot Chicken is catering. Check out the menu, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Dazzling diamonds, royal rubies, elegant emeralds, and stunning sapphires. Now's the time to discover an exquisite variety of radiant, prize-winning jewels that are set to take your breath away. This gorgeous, one-of-a-kind display won't be found at the finest jewelry stores, but rather at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer with Jumbo Bucks Jewels Instant Games. Collect glistening top prizes of up to $300,000 and make every win sparkle. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR, sky scan forecast this afternoon. Cloud showers and maybe a thunderstorm, high 74. Cloud showers and in spot the thunderstorm tonight, low 56. Straight thunderstorm to start Wednesday, otherwise sunny, high 60 early with temperatures falling. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
The afternoon stretch. The best show? I don't know if I can say that, man. I'm going to move on to the next one.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. If you want to get involved, we want to talk to you. 615-844-5600 on the first show of 2023. How long will it take you to, like, when you're like writing checks or something like that, actually start putting 23?
I can't remember. Last time I wrote a check was probably 2 years ago. Then when my rent thing moved online, so my commercial rent place. So that was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now I said that, it's like, when will I write the date?
Yeah.
It's going to be like
I'll do it at
August.
camp. We have to write notes. I'll probably do it at camp, fill out some information.
You'll write 22, and you'll be like, scribble, 23. Like, you'll think back to the moment. Oh, I miss Zach.
That's more of a high school thing.
I still feel like I'm in high school, if I'm being completely honest.
That never leaves a lot of people. A lot of other people act like they're in high school with everything.
We have so much to talk about. We obviously have talked about the Jamar situation. I mean, if news comes out while we're on the show, we'll talk about it again. If anybody has questions, we can bring it up.
Other than that, we're probably moving on.
Yeah, we're going to move on from it. And, like I said, everybody just say your prayers for him, constantly be praying for him, and praying for everybody that was in the situation. 615-844-5600 if you want to get in. Let's go to the borough. Jeff, first call of 2023. Jeff, how are you doing, buddy?
Well, hey, y'all enjoy y'all's 2-week vacation, or y'all have a good vacation?
It wasn't a 2-week. We were on air.
Oh, well, a few days.
Yeah, it was like 1 day.
Monday.
5 days.
Monday.
I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know. Well, Saturday and Sunday, I guess that counts too. I don't know.
We're off for those days anyway, baby.
Those don't count. Well, what about the Titans saying is Dobbs going to get it done, or is Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen going to roll?
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough, Jeff. But we talked about this last week. He looked far better than Malik Willis, and that is definitely an improvement from where the Titans have been these last 6 games before Josh Dobbs.
They still got no receivers, correct?
They have Traylon Burks. I think, Jeff, it's more of a situation of, one, Dobbs getting more comfortable in the offense, and two, the play calling being more confident in Josh Dobbs. I think the kid can throw down the field. I say kid, he's my age, but the kid can throw down the field much better than what even this season I think Ryan Tannehill could do.
Well, you might have a point there. I mean, I don't know if he'll turn it over like Tannehill does, but I mean, what's the spread? Is it a touchdown? What is
I think it was 6.5 points. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the favorite.
I I don't doubt they're the favorite. I mean, I'm not doubting that for a minute. So I'm hoping that Allen has about 6 sacks and break stops at half. That'd be nice. You can break him in half and go to the playoffs and get ready to And what's going to happen? Let me tell you something, Zach. What's going to happen? Let's say they do lose Saturday, 7 in a row. Does Babel keep his job?
That's the second longest losing streak in Tennessee Titans franchise history, by the way.
Does he keep his job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah, he keeps his job.
He gets it at least one more.
It's his first bad year. I mean, that's the real side of it.
I just wonder, 7-game losing streak, he keeps his job. I'm just kind of wondering. But that Amy Adams drug, boy, she don't want to win anyway, so that's pretty much the deal there. So, but,
I think she likes to win. I think it's when things are bad she doesn't like showing up.
No, I don't think so. She wouldn't. She'd have fired John Robinson a lot of the draft. She'd had some sense. She'd have fired him. Now, like a fan said before, that they should have. He said they should have traded. They should have traded Derrick Henry and kept A.J. Brown. They should have done. They should have traded him.
Hey, not screw a fan saying it. I was talking about it before the draft on this very show.
But you think Derrick Henry's the greatest back of all time?
I think he's the greatest Titans back of all time, but that's not the way the offense moves now in the NFL. I was talking about.
They ain't got no receiver like the Titans ain't got.
I know.
They ain't got none, so you better do something. Queen Henry, y'all hang in there, guys. See what Jaguars win Saturday. Y'all hang in there.
All right, Jeff.
Not a bad first call.
Kept it on track at least, And look, hey, do I completely disagree with some of the things said? No. I mean, firing John Robinson the night of the draft, trading A.J. Brown, hindsight 2020 would have been a smart call.
Yeah. I've been seeing this.
It's your show too, so yeah, you can do it.
Well, it's just I hate bringing up Twitter conversations as like the show because it's it's the fans kind of conversing, but that's the base. That's what they're talking about, and a lot of people are saying that the Titans are better off losing this game.
Losers.
What's
The SpongeBob thing?
There might be someone out there that is hoping the Titans lose, and if any single player or coach on the Titans team is like, it would be better if we lose this game, fire those people.
Get them out
into the sun.
Get them out.
Fire them into the atmosphere, the void of space where dark matter and there's one atom every 7 feet. Put them there.
Find Vince McMahon and make him fire him. That way on camera. I mean, that's how you fire him.
You don't play to lose the game.
No.
That is such a toxic thing to think.
Stupid.
And I think the Titans think so also because they all magically went, I'm off, injury report.
Healed. The only one was Nicholas Petit-Ferrier, I believe. I think he was limited participation as the report came out officially. But, that was – I'm surprised the NFL didn't look into – we talked about it a little bit. I'm surprised the NFL didn't look into more of a tanking situation for that Thursday night football thing. That's primetime football against the Cowboys right after Christmas. That's a big time for the NFL, and the Titans chose to not play everybody. Everybody had injuries apparently. Now all of a sudden they're not. I mean, it did feel like there was a little bit of tanking in there somewhere, but
that's not necessarily tanking because they do have the excuse to rest. Is the Colts when they were 15-0 resting their people? Is that like that's not tanking?
Maybe.
I think the Titans have an extremely strong and steady argument that they weren't tanking and they were resting, and that is two different things.
I will say this though, we talked about last week. We knew Josh Dobbs was obviously going to be the starter over Malik Willis. I don't know what it is. Call it the fan in me. Call it the local Middle Tennessee kid that grew up here in me. I got hope. I got hope against the Jaguars. I know the Jaguars just destroyed.
I love a good underdog story too.
The Texans. Yeah, I do too. And it's crazy. There's something in me that – and Vegas, look how Vegas is looking at that game. If you're saying 6 points was a spread?
6.5.
6.5?
That was last time I checked. I can go get it.
Yeah, give us an update on that for sure.
It might actually if it trends anywhere, I expect it to trend towards the Titans.
If it's close and Vegas is feeling like it's going to be within a touchdown, that's not how the last time these two teams met. And in that one, the Titans were the favorite in that game. And that game ended up a whopping decision.
6.5.
6.5. There's something in me that has hope. And Josh Dobbs, I'm telling you,
he's going to try to win this game.
He's playing for his future.
There's two paths. Josh Dobbs throws for 250-plus and wins,
yes,
or he turns the ball over 3 times trying to throw it downfield. And I think either is fine. Shoot for the stars, young man.
Yes.
You got nothing to lose.
No, he is play. I think he played himself already just with that one game in prime time, showing up in 9 days, 8 days, whatever it was. He played himself into a new contract. Now he's playing for himself to actually be talked about as a possible starter in the NFL. That's what he's doing going further. If Josh Dobbs goes in, and this is a playoff game for the Titans. This is a playoff game for the Titans. There is a world where the Titans make the playoffs and the Jags make the playoffs, even if the Titans win and the Jags lose. There's still a world where both of them can make the playoffs. But the Titans are in a playoff game. Josh Dobbs in a playoff game for his career. And that's what I love. He's a caged animal right now with his back against the wall. He has nothing else he can do but play good, play his hardest football he can, and he looked good. The guy looked, and the thing that got me, sitting inside the press box, in the press conference after the game, watching Josh Dobbs speak, that is the thing that got me the most. I'd never met Josh Dobbs in person. I'd never seen him talk in person, didn't cover him at all while he's in Knoxville. But seeing just in that day, the way he spoke honestly about his situation, where he thought, I really never thought I was going to get a shot in the NFL. I was 6 years in the NFL. 6 years in the NFL, never got a shot.
Hey, man, you got a shot. I didn't get a shot. You got a shot.
But and if you ask a lot of Pittsburgh fans, they loved him in preseasons. They loved him in preseason. They were very surprised Mason Rudolph would end up getting the job over him. There was a lot of people that talked about that. So watching him talk and the way he spoke like a leader of the team even in 9 days. Even in 9 days, he was comfortable. He's clearly a brilliant guy as it is, well-spoken, and his results on the field were really good. They were really good on a limited basis with no Derrick Henry, with no real game plan intact. Now that the Titans – and look, this is how crazy the situation is for me right now. It's making me question – what's Todd Downing going to look like? I might question myself on how I've said all season, fire Todd Downing, fire Todd Downing.
Maybe the players just sucked, and he was doing his best.
Maybe he just didn't have a quarterback to play. Who knows? If the offensive game plan comes out and it looks better, and it's Josh Dobbs making it happen, how do you look at Josh Dobbs going forward and say, I don't want him to be on my team?
All it takes is one.
Mm-hmm.
One. Take it from me. Everybody listening. I am a super fan of Vanderbilt University football.
Yep.
There was a time.
No one's bet more money.
There was a time when, like lemmings, we were all ready to jump off the cliff. And then they beat Kentucky. Euphoric. I mean, we were ready to burn West End to the ground.
Yep.
Then they win. And then they beat Florida. And everything changed like that. The Titans win this game.
They go to the playoffs.
They beat who they're going to play, Pittsburgh or the Ravens?
Yeah.
And they win one more? I mean, guys, the first Super Bowl I ever remember watching, Peyton Manning, Rex Grossman. Who is Rex Grossman? I know his name from that one day, and I've never heard it another day in my life.
Employee of the month at Macy's for the last 3 years.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, and we know what he is. Joe Flacco, too. Colin Kaepernick was – I'm not saying the Titans are good, but there's –
crazier things have happened.
People win the Powerball.
Yeah.
That's crazier than one of 14 teams going to a Super Bowl.
Crazier things have happened.
I don't take it like I'm saying the Titans are going to this. I'm just saying one good day can change everything. It can change an entire viewpoint. It can change a mindset. And sometimes all you need is just that one domino to fall. And the domino might be Josh Dobbs and having a good attitude and just going out there and being like, I'm going to sling it.
He will be the highest jersey sold. He'll set records if he can beat Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
It definitely helps that he's a Tennessee guy, too.
Yes, yes. That's exactly where I was going with it. I mean, even at the game, the amount of orange that I saw in the crowd, that I don't even know if they were rightly Titans fans or not. They were just like, Josh Dobbs is finally getting a shot.
That one song, We Be Josh Dobbin, right? Remember that one? I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head, man.
You beat Josh.
Sure did.
Yep. You get to.
I don't like saying that because from everything
you're on the offensive side.
Well, everything I've heard about this dude from just people that know him, not a bad thing to say about him.
Seems like volumes. An awesome guy.
I beat Butch Jones.
Yes,
that's who I beat.
That's who you beat. Champions alive. They're still out there somewhere. But no, I'm telling you, there's something in my heart that says Robert Woods. One, I think Robert Woods is revenge tour is coming up. That drop that he had, gosh. I think he's going to be.
I sure hope he looks at it like that.
He owes Josh Dobb a 100-yard game.
Yeah,
that's the real side of it. He owes Josh Dobb a 100-yard game. Traylon Burks, I think, he can explode. We've seen it. We've seen him on the precipice of exploding out there stats-wise. We've seen it happen already. And he really hasn't had that ginormous game yet, but you can tell he has the ability to do that. And then you have Derrick Henry in the backfield, which that's the piece de resistance, if you will. That if they get the passing game going, Derrick Henry will win the game for you.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Get the passing game going. And Derrick Henry will win you the game. If you got to the second half of Derrick Henry, you're up 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry has only ran the ball 5 times. Guess what? Game over.
Been such a depressing 7 weeks as a Titans fan. It's been
awful.
It's been a horrible stretch. We're winning 7. We're Nashville, baby. We are winning going into the last quarter. It's going to be the best feeling in your life.
You're still going to be scared. No, you're going to be scared. Unless you're winning by like 3.
You're scared,
you
but
need 3
you're
touchdowns.
scared, but it's that good scared.
Yeah,
it's that scared that
like
makes
this
you
could
feel
really
alive.
happen. It's the scared that Titans felt back when in 2019 when they got into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you saw Derrick Henry going up against the Patriots, and he was destroying them. And then the Ravens, and you're like, is this really happening? Mm-hmm. Like, are the Titans just walking through the playoffs right now? That's that scared feeling that Titans fans want to have again. Titans fans want to feel that again. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Josh Dobbs coming in, finally getting his moment. He'll be the Tennessee kid for the rest of his life. He'll be the Tennessee kid if he can win against Jacksonville and march this team into the playoffs, and God forbid he wins one in the playoffs. I mean, he gets, especially if it's against, somehow the Steelers make their way in, and Josh Dobbs, he's like, it's time to light up Mike Tomlin for choosing Mason Rudolph over me.
I didn't even, until you said that, I didn't even think about it. Josh Dobbs' revenge game.
Yeah. You got, and then obviously the Pittsburgh Titans, like, Central Division rivalry that has been, I mean, it's kind of fallen off now, but you know, the
Titans and Ravens are still kind of a thing, but
in a way, yeah, because they keep playing in the playoffs against each other. But it's still that however it falls, however it lands, I feel really, really good about Josh Dobbs going forward. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm talking about even next season, and I know it's one game.
Malik Willis.
No, and look, hey, he's a 3rd round draft pick. Let's treat him like a 3rd. He wasn't a 1st round pick just because everybody thought he was going to be a 1st round pick and he fell. And I'm not saying anything like I hate the guy. I don't. Malik Willis seems like a stand-up guy. Covering him in training camp and the way he faced the media, I love the way he did it. He did a good job. I don't want a losing quarterback. That's not that crazy. That's not that crazy of a thing. Josh Dobbs, yeah, he lost. And trust me, the Malik Willis fanboys out there, let me know that Josh Dobbs also lost the game. But he looked much better losing, right? It's like Buzz Lightyear doesn't fly. He falls in style. That's what Josh Dobbs does, all right? He lost in style. He gave you a shot in that game, and who knows if Dennis Daly will play against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, he will. He's going to play. And that'll probably be the downfall of the Titans right there.
Dennis Daly, the Iron Man. All injuries throughout the season, Dennis Daly has not been one.
Not physical injuries.
Hey, man, Dennis Daly. Listen, Dennis Daly, listen to me right now. I have to tweet this out. Dennis Daly, if you're listening, or if you're out there, listen to me right now. You've suffered through a lot this season. There's no changing the past. You can change your future. You play well in the playoff, not a soul will bring up the regular season again. You play well in this is a playoff game you're playing in. You pitch a shutout in this game, I will come on air and sing your praises. Do it. Accept the challenge. Dennis Daly, you can change it all. You can. I don't want to hear can't in your mind, Dennis Daly. You can do it. There you go. That's it.
Someone tag Dennis Daly. Someone tag him. 615-844-5600. We want to talk to you back after this here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. Really not too bad right now out here on the South Loop, the West Loop. Limited traffic developing at times on 65 up towards Goodlettsville. I-40, some radar out through Dixon County. Quite a bit out there earlier on I-40, not too far from 840. Same thing down in Williamson County. Lots of radar south of Nashville. Hey, Nash Painting Services, all of Middle Tennessee. If you want it done right, you will call these guys and schedule a time for this spring. NashPainting.com. Check them out. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs or a Bar Line's double stack and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines. Located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Lieutenant, can you tell us what happened today?
Our officers responded to a crash on I-40 westbound this morning. The driver of a pickup truck lost control of the vehicle, veered left, and went into a ditch.
911, what's your emergency?
We've been in a crash. Please send someone. My fiance is hurt.
A front seat passenger was wearing a seatbelt. She survived without injury. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the truck. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement writes tickets to save lives. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
It's a Bill King Show.
In Little League football, they play it off. You can't do it in college football, Bill. You got to come up with a bunch of computers and some BCS cockamamie scheme. My answer was yes. It's unique. Absolutely love it. I go into my garage every day and make sure there are no dust particles on those BCS computers. I do that.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
The afternoon stretch. Eventually, they'll have music beds for men.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams. Devlin, did you have a good New Year's? We hadn't said hi to you either.
Yeah, it was good. I had a good time. Back in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, when I didn't have more fun this entire weekend, even when I went out, than when Ohio State started putting it on Georgia. I was having when Devlin was texting, we were just texting the group chat like, "Oh my God, they've come to play." That was the most fun I had all weekend. Granted, then Georgia immediately brought it and tied it up, and Devlin was like, "We suck."
Devlin had the biggest emotional roller coaster that I can't imagine was sober at all.
Yeah,
no. And it was. I mean, in that group text, it was a back and forth. It was, I love my life. I hate my life. I love my life.
I can't believe this is my life. This LeBron picture. Yeah, that's a good one.
Devlin was having the back and forth there. But you got to see the family and the friends and all that kind of stuff. Bring in the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of the obvious, but.
It was fun.
They missed the kick. We'll talk about it.
I can't wait.
Don't worry. We're not going to. That one's not going to escape our grasp at all.
I'm looking forward to it.
615-844-5600. Let's go to Nolensville. Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Good afternoon, stretchers, and a happy new year to you. Guys, that's just listening to y'all talk on several different topics here, but Zach, there was a sports information director one time at Auburn, and he said what Bo Jackson brought to Auburn was hope. And that's what Josh Dobbs has brought to this Titans team. With this game to play is hope. I don't think you would get that out of Willis, and I personally don't think they're going to win the game. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But Josh Dobbs brings a sense of hope to this team on Sunday. With that being said, I also got to think, as you did, Zach, that with him back there, and I've said this numerous times and believe this, and we've talked about this before, if you've got a quarterback that can make you some plays, manage the game, protect the ball, and you've got you one or two playmakers, you've got a chance when you go into each game. Is that true or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're hitting the nail right on the head, too. It's the hope factor that team is going to feel. The team is going to rally around Josh Dobbs more now than ever, I feel like, for how they were ever going to rally around Malik Willis, because there is no more adding hope to Malik Willis. So are they going to rely on Malik Willis to come out and throw the first pass, and it's a great pass, and the team's like, hey, maybe we got something? No, they've seen enough out of him. Josh Dobbs, though, they saw what they saw in that game, and they're going to believe in him going into this one. So I think you're right on that.
I think that's true. I really do. Bruno, I do have a question for you. When I played the game, and it was eons ago, my shoulder pads looked like something from the Gladiator.
Yep.
I mean, they were huge. They were big. They come down below my chest. Shoulder pads today are smaller. The shoulder pads today on maybe even linemen, you can, elaborate on that. But even on linemen and your linebackers, they look like the shoulder pads that were given to, kickers, punters, quarterbacks back when I played. Do they absorb shots so much better today? Because you're going against guys we all know bigger, faster, and stronger than they were back in the 70s and 80s when I played. These players today, with the pads, seems to me the pads are getting lesser, and the physical specimen of the football player is getting even greater. And I want you to elaborate on that and just some of the pads and some of them, how they're made and all, and are they still good enough pads to absorb hard licks? Because that tackle last night at Hamlin, it looked like a routine tackle, and he took the shot, just blunt trauma right in the chest. And once again, guys, prayers for him, and hopefully he recovers. But I want you to talk about that and elaborate on that. And guys, I'm looking forward to these championship games, and it's going to be, of course, in the FCS on Sunday. You've got the two Dakotas again. You've got South Dakota going against North Dakota State, so that's going to be fun to watch. But then, of course, we got the big one, and TCU. You got to love them. You've got to love them as what they've done. And if they was to knock off Georgia and Devlin, Ohio State, I'll say very possibly should be there, but you still got to play the game 60 minutes. And let me ask y'all something, guys. Let me ask you something. Does the two losses of the Big Ten once again in the championship round, does that say, is there a statement in that? I'm going to hang up, let you guys talk about it. Love your show as always. Glad to get a kickstart another year. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. All right. The shoulder pads, they're smaller. They don't absorb better, but they help you move better, and they can play safer. Ohio State, the Big Ten, they can play. They can play with anybody. They deserve to be there. It sucks they both lost, but Ohio State pleasantly surprised me. Was that all the questions? I'm trying to go through a little one before I lose them. No, but the athletes nowadays, if you're going to play offensive line, you have to be fast. You have to be quick twitch. I think there's a reason, I didn't impress anybody. I ran a 5.440. My lateral times were good. My pro agility was 4.7 fastest clocked. But if you're not fast all around, people are going to look at you different. So I think being fast and having smaller pads and just being able to use your hands and being able to move. There's not a lot of Richie Incognitos anymore. There's not a lot of human tanks walking around. It's all about speed. Jason Kelsey, Mitch Morse, respectively on
Aaron
two
Brewer now.
teams. Aaron Brewer, yeah. They're trending that way, and there's a reason. People see something and they see it.
I think the pads are also different, though, even from back. They might be smaller, but, there's been major strides
I've never once been like, the pads don't absorb the hits hard enough,
Yeah.
I've never once said that
I think that they probably I don't know for sure, obviously.
And
but
offensive lineman isn't much of collision. It's
from the 70s, they're different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have to be as big, and I think that a little bit of what he's alluding to also was the hit last night. I don't know if who knows how that's going to play out when the end-all be-all we all find out what actually happened on that.
Because people will demand action and change, even if it's not necessarily the root cause. You know, there might be a sort of.
But I remember playing baseball. Like we were talking about this earlier. I played baseball even when I was younger, like 11, 10, Madison Little League. Shout out over in Madison. I remember taking one off the chest and having a weird thing. I don't know what happened there when it happened to me, but I know something happened that I blacked out for just a second, came right back. Like that happened to me when I was younger, and from then on I wore it was a pad. It was like an Under Armour that had like a sponge material right over the heart, and it was like a Nike made thing that it was made for young kids playing baseball, because mine was a ground ball, popped up, hit me in the chest. I don't think I had anything to do with the same thing that happened last night, or maybe it could. I don't know. But I know that happened to me, and I started wearing that back in the day. So, I mean, that was back, I don't know, 2006.
We just don't know enough to assume.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they make pads for whatever that was. Like, that's something that's been known, if it is what people are speculating on. But like you said, there's still just not enough information. But I think the pads for the NFL, I mean, they've definitely gotten smaller, but I think just because they get smaller doesn't mean they don't protect as well. I mean, look at helmets compared to the 70s to today. Helmets today are entirely different than how they used to be. By the way, watching Kenny Pickett, because the Sunday Night Football game too, going back to that, his helmet's weird. He's wearing those weird new ones that have like the mask is like way down here, and it's like all the visor. It's like visors like built into it. Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
They're weird. I don't know. You go look at Kenny Pickett's helmet. It's just weird. He looks fun. He looks like who was the Titans kicker? The really old guy who set the record. I think it was Gary Anderson is what I believe the name was.
Yeah, it looks like it just gives more field of view.
Yeah.
So they take off the helmet of the chin part, and it's just open.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, it probably looks good. He made a great throw there at the end of the game. So
yeah, I hate that everyone I've called trash has turned out to be good. Sucks.
615-844-5600 if you want to jump in back after this here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. Watching traffic volume increase quite a bit, where it starts to get a little bit heavy on 24 eastbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway there in Antioch as you continue out towards Rutherford County. Lots of radar in Wilson County this afternoon down the interstate on I-40 in the Mount Juliet area, continuing out towards Smith County. Heavy but moving I-40 in the Dixon County area. There's where there's been a lot of radar today. Princess Hot Chicken is catering. Check out that menu at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscom.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio. Call in now to the afternoon stretch, 615-844-5600, and be the most talented person on the show.
The afternoon stretch, final moments of the first hour. In the second hour, get to some college basketball talk with Blake Lovell of the 14. Get that at 5:25. Then get into some Predators talk with Alex Daugherty of A to Z Sports. That'll be at 5:40. Jump on Zoom, talk with them, have a good conversation with them about everything over these past few days. College basketball Kentucky just still can't win. They're just more and more trending down. Vanderbilt, we were talking about this earlier.
I mean, wow. Vanderbilt coming out as a, I'm going to ask Blake.
11-point favorite is what it was, I think, is what I saw.
9.5?
I saw 11 on FanDuel.
Man. It was what? Hey, between either way, a 2-point favorite would be too much,
Against South Carolina.
I can't wait to ask Blake about that line. That's gonna be a fun one.
You're gonna learn a lot about him. That's the real side of it, because that's been kind of the rhetoric about that team, is that they and it's the truth. If you go and look at their out of conference opponents, they were tough. Grambling was beating a lot of teams. Grambling was a very tough team, but because they're not some perennial blue blood, people are like, oh, well, you lose to Grambling. The only one I think that I'm forgetting the team, though. There was a couple in there that were bad losses, but some of them were really against legit teams.
Yeah.
The schedule was tough. So for them to come out and be 11-point favorites against a team that
would be huge. Start out conference play 1-0.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be happy with Vanderbilt, I think, in the conference play. That is my thought right now.
Oh, baby.
No,
let's see how that goes.
It's not fun. It's not a fun world. It's like being an Ohio State fan right now. They give you all that hope, dash it away immediately.
Hey, Titans are due. I mean, CJ Stroud's going to be on the Colts and Bryce Young on the Texans. So that'll be fun.
Then Trevor Lawrence, Jags.
Yep.
And the Titans are going to have
Philip Rivers out of retirement.
Get him back in there. First hour is done. Second hour coming up. Don't go anywhere.
ABC News. I'm Derek Dennis. After 3 rounds of voting, GOP House Leader Kevin McCarthy failed to get a simple majority of votes for House Speaker. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more from Capitol Hill on this historic day.
The last time the House had multiple ballots for a speaker was 100 years ago. It's only happened about a dozen times in American history. One time it took 2 months. So this is something that will be recorded in the history of the United States House of Representatives, no matter how it ends.
The House cannot perform any other duties until they choose a speaker. In New York, former FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried pleaded not guilty to federal fraud and conspiracy charges from the now bankrupt crypto exchange. Prosecutors say the number of victims of the fraud could exceed 1 million. At the Vatican, more than 70,000 people waited online today to pay respects to former Pope Emeritus Benedict. His body is lying in state at St. Peter's Basilica. This is ABC News.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce can be complicated, especially if children are involved. If you're a father and want to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067. Online at CordellCordell.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner. I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Needing a snow day? How about a dough day? Instant games from the Tennessee Lottery are bringing winning flurries and drips of cold, hard cash. With chances at breathtaking top prizes up to $4 million. Sled to your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and score a chance at a dough day. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's a Bill King Show.
Somebody asked me, this ascension of Tennessee football, is it sustainable? I think it is sustainable. Their recruiting ranking school. You can get A-plus personnel to Rocky Top, Tennessee. And the state is now way better than it ever was in its past, producing players.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now at 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Second hour of the afternoon stretch. 5:04 here in the Music City. Hope everybody is doing well. 5:25 we'll have Blake Lovell on of the 14 talking college basketball with him. At 5:40, Alex Daugherty of A to Z Sports will join us talking Nashville Predators. Bruno Reagan and I, a friendship will turn into enemies here this next weekend.
Yep, me and Zach are in the finals of our Listener League playoff that neither of us can win, so Kayla and Connor will be playing for the championship.
They're still going to play each other for the listener portion of it, and there's no giveaway really in it, so there's nothing that we're taking away from anyone, but it's more of just having fun with everybody inside of the Listener League.
Yeah, we were taking away something, well, you should have beat us. And I just wanted to be known, I was the champion last year. I'm planning to repeat, go back to back, something that's never been done in the Listener League history.
I mean, this is Goku versus Vegeta, and you're Vegeta.
I'm Goku.
No, I'm Goku.
Oh,
I'm always Goku.
Tripping.
That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe. No, this is Goku versus Vegeta, but the first time. I'm the Prince of all Saiyans. I'm invading Earth. I wax you, you know?
No, I win that fight.
No.
You get stabbed in the back by that one guy.
Yeah, Krillin.
Yeah, it's Krillin. I couldn't remember. Yajirobe.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking of. Why did I even remember that?
That's you if you were in the show.
No, you're Yajirobe for sure.
No, you look like Yajirobe.
You actually do, though. But, no, so we're going to be taking on, Mike Evans, welcome to the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
He destroyed. You talk about Tom Brady back against the wall against Sam Darnold. And Brady's like, all right, let's actually play some football here, Mike.
I mean, just turned it up.
Threw for 400 yards. I heard a theory, and I'm not 100% opposed to this theory. Next year, your starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, Tom Brady. They had already made that deal once. Rob Gronkowski is making all this, like, I might come back next year again, like unretire for a second time kind of stuff. He would, if they go to Vegas again, Dana White, he's in his own bowl of water right now, but Dana White set all that up to him go to Vegas. That is a real possibility right now. If you're Josh McDaniels and the Raiders, Jarrett Stidham or Tom Brady, it's an easy pick.
listen, Dana White also, I'm glad you brought it up because, hey, man, I think most of your money comes from ESPN, doesn't it? With U.S. president, don't be surprised if and you said it best. He's lucky the UFC is it's a small deal because it is just absolutely eaten up by the news cycle right now.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, because you may just not know, over New Year's, Dana White and his wife were in Mexico at a nightclub. That's already the first bad part. He's like 50-something. Don't go to a nightclub. But outside of that, they are in an argument. His wife pops him in the mouth. He pops his wife back in the mouth. And it's all on video. You can watch them hit each other, and it is a terrible look. That relationship, I don't know. That's speculating super hard into it, but it doesn't look good from just that one video. And frankly, no one's talking about it. If Roger Goodell was on video hitting his wife in the face, it would be all over the news cycle all the time. But because the UFC is not as popular and is a niche sport, and obviously the situations that's happening in the news stories, it's faded away, and I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
Yeah, I don't think
he might self-punish or something like that, but outside of that, yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen to him. It's pretty crazy, man. And you already know my feelings. I mean, that's hard. That stuff's really hard for me to watch. So, hey, man, not a good person. And I don't care if she hits you first. No man should ever lay his hands on a woman. Is what it is. Yeah. So let's talk about college football now, because Devlin's escaped this all day today, and we got to bring it up. We got to talk about it. I will say, look, hey, Devlin, bigger man sitting in this chair. Hand up. Ohio State played way better than I thought they were going to.
Sure.
I thought Georgia was just going to mop them up, get them out, and everybody would have been done. You start to wonder, and I wonder for the players that one got injured or two quit, how bad they felt in that game, because maybe if they're out there, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what that extra motivation, that extra skill, that extra talent, what could have done.
You can ask that question all you want. There's really nothing we can do about it at this point. The boys fought hard. At the end of the day, the reason why Georgia won is because they had more points. It's simple as that. Couldn't land that kick at the end.
More points, less opt-outs.
Very true.
That's real. That's real.
That's a very real statement. Shout out Stetson Bennett, 398-3, looked good. C.J. Stroud on the other side looked good.
I wanted to slander him so.
I know you wanted to.
Bad.
I know you wanted to. I know you felt it. And did Stetson Bennett with that game help his draft stock?
No, it's not existent.
You don't think so? It's the age thing. It's just too much.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm going to go look up some Stetson Bennett profiles because I'm sure they're out there right now. But it can't be. It can't be even draftable, to be honest. And that sounds harsh for someone that's accomplishing what he is. I get it. But the NFL doesn't operate on. And when they do, it always ends miserably. Everyone knew Tim Tebow was a bad prospect, but he won the Heisman. So it's I don't know. I guess something's there. No, and there wasn't. You got to kind of trust your eyes with it. So we'll see what happens with Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett's better than Tebow, I'll tell you that.
So what are your thoughts, Devlin, as the resident Ohio State fan? What are your thoughts on this game?
Like Ryan Day, staff, culture, everything.
Sure, yeah. I loved it. I loved what I saw, and the reason why I did was because I think it was a completely different football game than what I saw against Michigan. Truth be told, I think if that team that showed up New Year's Eve night played Michigan, we mopped them. It wouldn't be close. We destroyed Michigan.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing that it took this game for us to show out like that. I think we played very aggressive. There was no conservative ball. I liked what I saw. I'm very happy, and I'm glad we got there. I'm upset it's over, but I'm happy we got there. But at the end of the day,
don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Exactly right. It's
you didn't want to see Ohio State even play. You didn't want to see them play.
Yeah, you're on these airwaves saying, "I hope they don't make it."
Overreaction Monday.
Yeah.
Overreaction Monday.
Talk about something that doesn't matter anymore in the game of football, and it's running backs. The most yards that came out of a running back was 70 yards total off 5 carries, and it was just because of a 52-yard run. That was it. Mm-hmm. Running in this game was non-existent, and it just doesn't matter. If there's any more hope for the Titans to just change to a passing offense, it's that. I derail us a little bit there. But the kick at the end, that is – what do you think that was, Bruno? Was that nerves? Was that just fear? Because that was not.
I saw
that was not only a bad kick. That was the worst kick you could have done, other than just miss, like Charlie Browning it and missing the ball and flying in the air. That's it.
Kickers, so many kickers are so particular about their operation. I don't know what his specific was. I know they kept showing close-ups and the ball was tilted a little bit, and people were like, the holder messed up. But, and the way the kicker shanked that kick, the long snapper was super sad, and he picked him up, so a lot of people were identifying that. We just don't know. All I know is that I feel bad for you. I know you're a young man. That was absolutely unacceptable. That is Ryan Tannehill. Like, at least make it close. That's your only job to kick. I know it seems harsh. That's like Ryan Tannehill throwing, to just absolutely no one and just straight up pick and losing the game. He would get all the blame. The kicker deserves the blame for that one. Wasn't even close. Sucks. And really, did Ryan Day do you any favors? No. The second he got into that field goal range marker on TV, somehow he saw that and he was like, shut the offense down. They should have gone for the throat. They should have gone for the touchdown until they couldn't, then kick it. They just said, okay, we can run it out and go for, what was that kick? Like 30, 40, something like that?
Yeah.
They could have made it closer, I think, and helped him out. But it is what it is. Almost threw out the impossible. And let me tell you, Ohio State going up against the TCU team, it would have been scary for TCU. Ohio State was fast.
Yeah.
It's a tough team to play against.
Yeah. That kick no matter what you do, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's going to think about that for the rest of his days.
It's what he's known for.
Yep.
That's the real side of it. What's the Ohio State fans' outlook on him now?
I don't know. I haven't really asked. It's not really one of those things where you mentioned just the kick alone. Most people are just upset that it was right there. It was right there. Obviously, the kick did it, but there was the most things that I've heard. It's mostly the same thing, and there's nothing more we could have done. And that's really mostly what's said so far from me and my friends. There's nothing more that Ohio State could have done, and that's okay. We'll take that loss. We'll move on. We'll come back next year.
Whose loss was worse, Ohio State's or I was gonna say Big Ten's, but Michigan. I think Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Hey, man, Michigan's dead. Sacrifice your season. Michigan. Harbaugh's gone.
Yeah.
Michigan's dying.
I think he's leaving.
If I was a Ohio State fan, I'd be chomping at the bit. 10 more years.
Yes.
10 more years. 10 more years. That's what I'm thinking.
He beat you twice. He beats you twice.
He got the last two, the most recent two, and he's like, I'm out. Big time.
Yeah, there's all kinds of reports that if the Denver Broncos job is very favorable to him, he would leave for it, which I saw some other people talking about saying, Michigan is also the cushiest job in the world. Majority of your games don't matter. You don't really have to win all that much to have success there and be a successful coach.
And school sends you to Rome every year, I guess, in the spring to mess around. That's true, by the way.
It's just you get to just hang out. That's the real side if you want to be the Michigan coach. I don't know. I guess Harbaugh might leave, just maybe a pride thing, but
Well, the NFL is also a nice gig if you get a good setup. It can turn bad real fast, but it can also be good.
Could be a leverage move.
That's a great point, Devlin. Could be a leverage move.
Spreading out the news. Hey, I'll leave. You don't want to keep me here.
Mm-hmm. Look at what I just did.
Pay me $500 billion to be the coach in Michigan. I'll retire here. Now, how do we feel about the national championship? Do we think TCU is going to keep it? Because, look, I learned my lesson. I'm not going to say Georgia's just going to mow over the competition anymore. I'm not going to do it, which means they probably will.
As someone who said that the Ohio State game, don't be surprised if it's close. As someone who picked TCU over Michigan, only one, by the way. Absolutely on fire right now. I think Georgia waxes TCU. I do.
Which is what you picked.
I do think Georgia waxes TCU. I think there's just TCU operates off speed, whereas Georgia was that traditional, we're going to ground the run game. And for some reason, they just couldn't get it established. I think TCU's front 7 and 8 just played their tails off. Georgia doesn't have to run smash mouth football. They just spread it out. They get a playmaker on the edge. They get 2 wide receiver blockers in front of them, and they make 7 to 8, and that's just going to be hard to keep up with. It's going to be a shock for TCU offensively because their DBs, are just lightning fast on the edge. They're going to run downhill and make tackles. Just extremely disciplined team. I'm calling a Georgia blowout, sadly. Blowout. I don't know what the line is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Georgia minus 13 or so.
13.5.
What?
13.5.
Wow, look at me. I swear I didn't look it up. I swear. But
Big brain Bruno on this Tuesday.
But yeah, I love TCU. I love what they've done. I love seeing smaller teams. You see their stadiums in comparison to all of them. Everyone's like, but they made it to the Natty, and that's important. You know, having different teams make appearances is important. Georgia's a relatively new powerhouse, too. They're still relatively new, so it's a good thing. I think Georgia gets it done. Boring, sad. If Max Duggan can get it done, I'll be happy with that, too.
Yo, have you heard his story?
No.
His open heart surgery he had to have that he was awake for?
No.
Yeah, 9-hour open heart surgery.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you haven't seen it, you can go look that up. It's a crazy story. Other game I want to get to that happened over the weekend as well, the Orange Bowl. Vols taking it to the Clemson Tigers, 31-14. And I got to say, Bruno, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You think
I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. I know I shouldn't do it. He looked really good.
It's Clemson. And their quarterback, I know they didn't have DJ Ukulele anymore, whatever his name is. I know they didn't have him anymore. But their new quarterback is apparently this big stud, never lost a game in his life, loses his first start. And he's like, I don't know what happened. We were driving on demand. No, you weren't. You got beat up. So, hey, good win for Tennessee. That game does matter. A lot of Vandy fans are like, it's just the Orange Bowl. We would kill people to be in the Orange Bowl. So
no, Milton was making some passes where it's like, okay, you can see a future in this guy. And that's what we talked about before the game last week. Like, are we going to be able to see anything out of him that we can say, okay, there's something there that is worth exploring? Mm-hmm. And I think there was. He found there were some touch passes. He found some good touch. I mean, the guy can, frankly, throw the ball across the moon. But
I asked that question. I was like, hey, man, does anyone tell me stronger arm than Joe Milton? Some people were throwing some suggestions around, but not many because that kid's got a rocket.
And
I was
just going to say, I feel better about Tennessee next year. Probably going to come out, I think, maybe number 12 team in the nation. Probably top 15. That might be lowballing it a little bit. And I would not be surprised if they get into the top 4 discussion quickly.
I actually wish our show was a little longer because so much happened over the weekend that I want to talk about. Mainly, Heineke gets benched and Carson Wentz comes in there and instantly blows the playoff chances.
Yeah, and what about – but did you see Ron Rivera did not know that they were going to get eliminated if Vikings had lost?
That's bad.
And that's something I texted the group chat talking about Taylor Heineke. I couldn't believe with the playoffs on the line, he left Wentz in there for throwing 3 interceptions and didn't even think about putting Heineke in. It's because he thought, well, we got next week.
Yep.
And Heineke probably was going to start.
Yep.
That's the real side of it. That would have been that. I mean, it's just.
And then the Vikings, did no favors. Vikings, hey, fraud team. I'm calling it what it is.
They are, but
elite teams don't lose like that.
No,
doesn't happen.
Watch them just destroy the playoffs.
The NFC,
they should.
Ty, Green Bay or Tampa's coming out of the NFC. That's it. That's one of those two teams. The Eagles, utter collapse. Do you see what A.J. Brown said? He threw Gardner Minshew under the bus.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know. I'm not taking so much from the Saints Eagles game with no Jalen Hurts.
But just the reaction of the players.
Yeah.
It looked like someone died. And I'm not saying being okay with losing is a good thing. Show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. But also, I mean, bringing that energy into the, it's all over. That can be a deceptively poisonous to yourself, too.
Tom Brady's going to walk right to
Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl again.
It's Cowboys. Cowboys have to either face the Packers or Tom Brady. Tom Brady's never lost to the Cowboys, and Aaron Rodgers is 5-0 against the Cowboys.
The Cowboys have
JJ
a
World.
0% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Really do.
Zero.
Really
Settle. Cowboys. Settle.
Oh, that's really bad. That's really bad. We got to run to a break. There is a lot to talk about. There really is. When we come back, though, we're going to be talking college basketball with our good buddy Blake Lovell of the 14. You're not going to want to miss that on the other side here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. They were moving something there a few minutes ago on 24 East at Bell Road. All it did was slow down that traffic now as you try to get past Haywood Lane on 24 East, continuing out towards Murfreesboro in Rutherford County. Just give yourself extra time as it increases to the west out in Bellevue. 40 westbound passing Highway 70. Got all that traffic headed out through Kingston Springs out towards Dixon County. Lots of radar in Dixon County this afternoon. Nash Painting, they service all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out. They've got great references. I've personally known them for a long time. NashPainting.com.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce can be complicated, especially if children are involved. If you're a father and want to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you.
Online at CordellCordell.com, 317-322-0122, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.